Hey there, I'm John Moore, and I am a shamanic teacher, and which means I teach shamanism to lots of different people from all walks of life. And today I'm going to talk to you about shamanism as a spiritual path. And I'm going to differentiate a little bit from shamanism as a profession, right? Because I practice shamanism professionally. I see clients and I teach shamanism and I write about shamanism. And it is both a spiritual path and a profession. So there are a few components of this. So what I do want to talk about is that many people choose to learn and practice shamanism without becoming a shamanic practitioner, without seeing clients, without becoming a professional shamanic person. Most people who practice shamanism in outside of indigenous cultures do it that way. Most people I know who practice shamanism have not hung a shingle out and are working in a healing capacity or advising capacity or that sort of thing. So I want to just draw a little bit of a distinction between what I'll call sort of a professional shamanic person, what have you, whether you call them a shaman or a shamanic practitioner or shamanic healer or shamanic teacher. So there's that. So what does that look like? Why would you do that? What does that sort of mean? So shamanism, is a set of practices. It's a sort of a constellation of a set of practices and a worldview. And it can be used as a spiritual path. In fact, if you are going to wind up practicing shamanism professionally, it is going to be your spiritual path because that's how it works. That being said, it can be practiced alongside many other spiritual paths. So I know people who are practice Wicca and who practice shamanism. I know people who are Jewish and practice shamanism, or Buddhist, or what have you, because they're not necessarily incompatible viewpoints. The thing to understand about shamanism is that it is not really a religion in the sense that we think about religion. There's no governing body or organization around shamanism. There are organizations that people form as more of like mutual support and learning and that sort of thing, but there's no doctrine, there's no dogma, there's no book, there's no holy books of shamanism. There are lots and lots of books about shamanism, but there's no holy book, doctrine, dogma. There's no other than somebody who is a shaman, there's no clergy, there's no hierarchical clergy, meaning like there's not a pope of shamans or, head of some shamanic order. And that might have been different in the past in some indigenous cultures. I guess, we would consider if you, for example, thought of druids as being shamanic, right? And they may or may not have been. I'm not completely sure because we don't have good written records of what they practiced, but it's highly likely that they were practicing some form of shamanism and they had a whole religious structure, organization, college, all of that stuff back before the Romans came and kind of wiped them out. And so that maybe has existed in the past, but it is in cultural context. And that's the other part of shamanism as a spiritual path, is that it happens in context. So if I were going to go down to Ecuador and train with the medicine people in Ecuador, I would learn songs and ceremonies and rituals and all of those things that are particular to that culture. And the same thing if I went to West Africa, or if I went to Siberia or Mongolia, if these indigenous cultures were open to teaching people outside of their culture. Some aren't, some are. I know people who have, for example, trained with Nepali shaman, or trained with West African shaman, or people from the United States. So some cultures are open to that. So you would practice either within your culture, or you would learn something called core shamanism, which is shamanic practice removed from specific indigenous culture, and practicing the tools that are common to almost all shamanic cultures. As a spiritual path, whether you see your path as moving towards enlightenment or just gaining more knowledge or more connection to spirit, shamanism can provide all of that. I will say this, though. It is not an easy path. And I'll do a whole other video about shamanic initiation and what that looks like. But in shamanism, you are initiated by spirit. And what that means is you may go through some ceremonies, you may go through some rituals, but spirit is going to shake your life up in ways that nobody can predict. And it happens to almost everybody who has any sort of depth of shamanic training, any sort of long-term. Now, this doesn't happen if you let's say just take a weekend intro class or something like that. But I've been through a lot of initiations. My life got turned upside down and inside out. And I brought this metaphor up to my teacher one time. I said, I think shamanic initiation is like putting your life inside one of those snow globes, those tourist trinkets that they sell that have snow inside, and you shake them up, and then taking that and putting it into a paint mixer at a hardware store that just shakes the heck out of a can of paint to mix it up. And she goes, oh yeah, that is a perfect analogy, a perfect metaphor for what initiation is like. And so I jokingly say sometimes that shamanism is not a path for wimps. You have to be somewhat resilient because it is going to break you down to build you back up. In alchemy, in the ancient arts of alchemy, there were lots of different operations, but they could be basically broken down into solve and coagula, right? So solve is where we get the word dissolve from. It is breaking things down. Coagula is where we get the word coagulate from, is putting them back together. So shamanism as a spiritual path will break things down, and that happens for people in different ways. Some people get sick. Some people have mental breakdown. Some people's life kind of shakes apart. That sounds harsh, and it sounds unpleasant, and it sounds like, and yes, all of those things are true. I got sick. I had lots of big unpleasant life events. But what happens is you come out the other side more whole, more healed, stronger, more resilient. All of those things kind of happen. And that is really why shamanism is a spiritual path for me. I started practicing shamanism as a spiritual path just for my own self, and had no intention of ever working with anybody else ever in my life. And spirit had very different plans for me. And there's another metaphor that I like to use, that spirit will send you messages about the path that you're supposed to be on. Most of us, if you've ever studied the hero's journey, Joseph Campbell's hero's journey, most of us ignore the call to action. That's the beginning of the hero's journey. There's a call to action, and we ignore it. And then something happens, and we can no longer ignore it. And that thing is Shamanic Crisis, which I'll do yet another video on, because these are all sort of large topics. And so I like to say, so the universe is going to send you messages. Universe or spirit or God, or however you want to describe the creative intelligent force of the universe, is going to send you messages. And what happens is we tend to ignore them, and the volume gets turned up, and the volume gets turned up, and the volume gets turned up. And the message becomes so loud, you either pay attention to it, or you go through crisis. And I call this a slap in the face by the universe with a wet fish, right? It's like that rude awakening that it's, a slap across the face with a wet fish, as you can imagine. So that, is a little metaphor that I use when I talk about spiritual calling. I do have a lot of people contact me who say things like, I feel like shamanism is my path, and I feel like I'm getting called to shamanism, and that's fantastic. And in this modern age, it's nice that you can do something like take an introductory class in shamanism, and figure out if it is really for you. Because some people discover that calling is for something else. There is this shamanic awakening that's happening right now because the world has been in crisis for a couple of years with the global pandemic, and shamanism responds to crisis by forcing people to awaken. So I am seeing more and more people take up the path, but you want to be really clear that it is the right path to you. And we do not proselytize. There's none of that as well. That is common in some religions. We don't try to recruit people. It's the path chooses you, or you choose the path, and you decide if the path is for you, and you take it as far as you want or feel comfortable to, and you need never go any further than that, and nobody ever looks down at you. And there's no organizations to join, or tithes to pay, or dogma or holy books to read, or any of that. It's just worldview and techniques. So the worldview of shamanism is animistic, meaning shamans everywhere believe in spirit. And the belief is that not just human beings, but animals, plants, fungus, insects, everything living has spirit. And most of us shamanic practitioners believe that even non-living things have spirit. So things that we would consider non-living from a biological perspective, like rocks and mountains and rivers and the wind and cultures and that sort of thing, all have a spiritual component. And I keep talking about videos I'm gonna do, and I promise I'm gonna do all of them, but I will do a whole other video about the spiritual aspect of shamanism in the shamanic worldview. So that is the main thing, is that shamans believe in spirits, particularly helping spirits, and we work directly with them. Shamanism is a path of direct revelation, meaning that even if you were my student and I told you something like, this is how to do this shamanic technique, and your helping spirit said, no, I want you to do it this way, I would say to you that you follow the instruction of your helping spirit, because they know more than I do, and this is a path of direct revelation. I am not standing between you and your helping spirits. It's not like that. There is no intermediary between you and spirit. There's no person standing between you and God, if you want to use that term, or spirit, or the universe. It is you. And all I do as a teacher is to guide people to experience that. I am, and I frequently say, I'm a guide, not a guru. You don't worship me or bow down to me or any of those things. I'm just a teacher. I have experience with some techniques and ways of doing things, and some understanding that I can pass on, but I do that as an equal, because we are equal in spirit. I am not better than you, and you are not better than me. And that's a thing that I love about shamanism, is that we get to approach each other and spirit on equal footing. It is a very maternalistic form of spirituality, as opposed to paternalistic. So maternalistic forms of spirituality are very flat organizational structure. Paternal forms, religions, that sort of thing, tend to be very pyramidal, where you have a guy at the top, and then other people down below him, and other people down below them, and other people, and at the very bottom is the rest of the world. And you have elite status, and there's usually a lot of money funneling towards the top. In every way, shape, and form, it is a pyramid scheme. And I am not using that in a pejorative way to put down anybody's spiritual beliefs or religion or anything. That is the organizational structure. That is the truth of it. Everything gets funneled either towards the top or down away from the top. In contrast, shamanism is very flat. There is no top. There's just one level and everybody's gathered around. It is a really an expression of the divine feminine, the way that shamanism works. There is both divine masculine and divine feminine in shamanism, but the structure is very feminine as opposed to paternal. It's maternal as opposed to paternal. That being said, I will conclude this little talk and look for more videos. I hope you'll subscribe to this channel. I look forward to spreading the word of shamanism and talking about it even more. And I told you we don't proselytize. I don't. You don't ever have to do this as a spiritual path, but if you're curious, I'm going to do a lot more videos because it is my path and I love it and I love talking about it. And so we can have a mutual understanding and converse and talk and understand each other. I hope you're happy and healthy, and I will talk to you real soon.